Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rashana, and I'm going to do a review of our talking circle. Now, it's funny that we actually are doing this assignment right now because this talking circle is something that I do with my kids all the time, or anyone else that comes over. We don't really use an object or a symbol of something. We sit and we talk. You know, I'm all about respecting other people when they're talking. Sometimes, you know, if I have something to interject at that time, I'll say, you know what, not to interrupt, but let me make this point. Kind of ties into what you're saying because sometimes I forget. So it's like, no disrespect or anything, but what about this? And it's like, yeah, you know, that's a good point. And I was just going to mention that kind of thing. But back to my talking circle. Right before this assignment came up, I had decided that, you know, even though I do these talking circles with the kids all the time, that we would incorporate some kind of stick or something. It's like, okay, because we all talk at once a lot of the times. Sometimes our discussions can get heated, but at the end of it, it's always, I still love you. I'm not disappointed in you. You know, I always make sure that I reiterate that after every conversation that we have. Even now, if it's just one-on-one and I may be chastising the kids about something, I always make sure to tell them, I love you. That's not going to change. I may not like what you do, but me loving you never changes. I feel like it's important to always tell your kids that. And it's very important to have these conversations with your kids where they know I can come to mom and dad about anything. No matter what it is. They may not like it. I may get in trouble. But I know that I can talk to them. I tell my kids sometimes, my oldest daughter and my older son, he's 19. I tell them, if you don't need a mom at that time, let me know that. Mom, I don't need you to be my mom right now. I just need a friend. The kind of friend that I am, I can listen. I can let you vent. You want me to be mad with you? I can be mad with you. We can hate that person together. But after you have vented, then I can be the voice of reason. And I can give you a better way to look at things. I can help you understand your feelings. But I can't do that if you don't talk to me. So that was another reason why we came up with the family meeting. And we do it once a week. Anybody can call these meetings. I don't care, even if it's my 7-year-old son. Hey, I need to talk to everybody. Can y'all sit down? Okay, let's do it. So just recently I decided to incorporate this stick. And the reason for this stick, because it symbolizes something to our family. And this is just it's just a little stick. But 2 years ago, my family and I, we lived in Kentucky, and we were homeless for almost a year. And the shelter that we stayed at, they would sometimes take the kids on these field trips. So one of the field trips was to the Louisville Slugger plant where they make the actual Louisville Slugger, but these were the little ones that they gave to the kids. And this, for us, symbolizes how we stuck together in that situation. How we didn't let it tear us apart. We knocked that situation out of the park. We dealt with it. We owned it. We made lots of new friends. You know, we were able to help people out, even though we were in a bad situation. We were able to help others and get them to see things differently. So I will never forget that part of our life, because it has changed a lot of thinking in me and my husband and my kids, because we saw a part of life that we knew existed but never thought it pertained to us. So one of the topics of conversation during our meeting, and our meetings last a while because for the most part we all talk. My 11-year-old, no matter if she has the stick or not, she's not talking. She doesn't like expressing her feelings. So I thought that this would help her, but no, it doesn't. The biggest topic of conversation for this particular talking circle is creativity. My kids all like to do something different. You know, I don't know if you remember from my introduction, I like to sing. I've played the cello for years. My husband plays the keyboard. My 11-year-old, she is learning to play the violin. My 18-year-old plays the flute. My 19-year-old, he sings and he writes music. My 7-year-old wants to learn how to play the drums. My 9-year-old, she sings and she's also learning to play the keyboard. So we're all kind of musically inclined. But they, kids, they always say, oh, well, I'm bored and I don't have anything to do. Mom, I'm bored. What do we do? And my thought is, when you're thinking outside the box, there's nothing that you can't do. When you think outside the box, no one can come to you and say, you can't do this, because of that. You can't do this. You can't accomplish this. But a person who thinks outside the box knows that they can accomplish anything that they put their mind to. Anything. And I tell my daughter, you like to sing. Well, why don't you try putting a song together? I told her, you like to write. Why don't you write a book? She wrote a 6-page kids book and turned it in for a project at school. I said, if you write it, I'll type it up. We'll add a picture to it and you turn it in for your project. And that's what she did. So then it got the other kids interested in writing. All it takes is one. And from there, the other kids, they wanted to do something too. Well, can I pick out pictures and you put a book together for me? Well, they felt like they put a book together, so it was something. But don't let that creativity get lost. As Professor Naylor has said, don't let that creativity get lost. I'm all about my kids being creative because I want them to understand, like I said, there's nothing that you can't do. Even when it comes to me, don't let me tell you what you can't do. If you want to sing and you want to go on a 12-city tour, well, then I will give you what you need to be able to do that. But who am I to tell you that you can't do that tour? You're never going to make it. That's me stifling their creativity. I decided one day, it's like, hey kids, why don't we build popsicle stick houses? Did we have all of the tools that we needed? Yes, because I love arts and crafts, so I keep a bin full of arts and crafts. The point is, always think of something to do. Don't get stuck in your creativity. When you say you're bored, you're stuck. Because your mind has stopped thinking of things to do, or you've stopped listening to what your brain is telling you. Hey, you should do this. Oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do this, because you think it's so far-fetched. Nothing is far-fetched to a creative mind. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. I get it, I know. But it's true. And I could sit here and I could talk forever, but this is just a review of the talking circle. So yes, our talking circle lasted for about 3 hours. Because there's no time. I don't put a time limit on our conversations. I don't care if it takes 6 hours. If you have all that to say, I'm going to listen for that full 6 hours. You have my complete attention for that 6 hours. Because this is the time I have set aside. So, that is my review. And it was great talking about my experiences with you guys as far as my family meetings with my children. I had no idea that it was something that the Native Americans do to squash beef between the tribes and even within their own families, to get people to start listening to each other, to respect each other. I think it's a great tool to use. And that's it. Thank you guys for listening.